Okay, so the second thing, orders and command sponsorship. These are kind of in order of most important or most expensive things that you need to know first before PCSing overseas, right? So expectations. And the second one is orders, command sponsorship, because obviously if you don't have orders and you're not command sponsored, you're not going to get benefits. You're not going to be able to actually move to Italy, right? So what I want to know was, was it difficult to obtain your orders? In Germany, you have to go through EFMP, the medical screening first, and then you can actually get your orders. So yeah, I'm just kind of curious about the orders and command sponsorship stuff. So if you can touch on that.
So for orders and command sponsorship, it is the same for Italy. You do have to have an EFMP clearance first before your command sponsorship is approved. And that will determine whether the sponsor, which most likely is your spouse, will be accompanied or unaccompanied.
Right.
So to be accompanied with dependents, you do have to have command sponsorship to be included in orders. So once you get your EFMP approval, which I know is a whole other topic, then you are given command sponsorship and you move forward in the process of getting ready to move to Italy.
We can kind of go hand in hand with EFMP.
Okay. Yeah, we can. Yeah, because it's kind of a together process.
Right. So it's super difficult over here to get EFMP. Once you start it to the moment that it's like approved or not approved, it takes a long time. There's a lot of things you got to do. It's very, very stressful because, as you know, moving overseas, you have a lot of shit to do and very little amount of time to do it. So a lot of times people are just waiting for their EFMP to get approved and for them to get their orders dropped and command sponsorship before they start doing a bunch of other things. So is that the same?
It can be. It depends on each family situation. For EFMP, you start the process immediately because you have to have that clearance before you can obtain command sponsorship. And for EFMP, the personnel office will initiate it with you through an email and send you how to log into a website called MyVector. It's myvector.us.af.mil.
Okay.
And once you receive the initial email to get into MyVector, you start the checklist on there. Typically, it's a pretty easy questionnaire, and the questionnaire evaluates whether you have educational as well as medical special needs.
Right.
And just because you may get rolled into EFMP does not mean that you will not be able to be command sponsored. So you start the medical clearance process. For us, it went pretty fast. Luckily, we didn't have any extenuating circumstances and ended up not needing to be enrolled in EFMP. But for those families that do, you get your medical clearance. And then when they are reviewing your medical clearance, they may say, oh, you need to enroll in EFMP, and you get what's called a Q code. And that may determine whether you can obtain command sponsorship or not. It all depends on if Aviano Air Base can meet your needs.
Yeah.
So someone may be enrolled in EFMP for a speech delay. Your child may have a speech delay, but depending on the severity, that may not be an issue. They can attend speech therapy here in Italy, whereas someone else who may have a more severe speech delay may not be approved to come because they don't have the resources to handle that here.
Right, and that's what it's all about for folks that are new to EFMP and the whole process. They do this because when you move overseas, especially to a rural place like Aviano or where I'm at, where it's a very rural area, there's very limited resources and support that can help any of these special needs. And I don't know all the whole list and who does what in terms of support, but just know that the resources out there are not like in the States where you can go to Dr. X, Y, and Z right off base, or teacher X, Y, and Z that can help your child with, the special needs that they need or the educational needs that they need. So that's why they do this. Okay.
Exactly. And that's something important to note about Aviano Air Base is we do not have a hospital on our air base. We do have medical facilities, but not everything is covered in that medical facility. So surgeries, a lot of outpatient procedures have to be taken to off-base hospitals or providers.
Right.
And that is something they want to consider before they send you over here and then you don't have the resources that you need. And that can also come up while you are living here. I've had friends who ended up having medical issues with a child while they are here, and the family is sent back to the States because their needs can't be met here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You guys specifically didn't have any EFMP issues coming over.
No, for us, the process was simple. We filled out the questionnaire. I believe we had to submit our medical records or give access to our medical records. We also had to fill out a dental form and get it signed by our dentist. And we had a phone call. So they called us with any questions they had about our medical history, just to clarify some information that they needed. We didn't even have to do physicals, because I know that was mentioned for other bases that you may have to do a physical to be approved.
For sure.
I don't believe you have to do a physical. We did not have to do one. They may require it if they have questions about your medical history, but for us, it was pretty simple, and we got approved in a few weeks, which I know isn't as common for some people.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, I didn't know that. And then I don't know if we touched on this, but just for the folks that are new in terms of moving overseas. So you do the EFMP process, you get approved. Hopefully it doesn't take that long. But then your orders drop, and then you go through the command sponsorship process. And the whole idea of being command sponsored on the base is so that you can take advantage of all the benefits that you have on the base there, right? So like tax-free gas. There's we call it a UTAP, which is a utility tax avoidance program. I think you guys call it something different, where your utilities aren't as high in taxes or something like that, right?
We receive a utility allowance here. Yeah.
Okay, utility allowance. And then like a fully funded move. So like, they pay for your move and stuff, shipping your vehicle, right? So there's all these different benefits that you have that you only can get if you're command sponsored, like, or be just simple access to the BX, or just
access to base.
Yeah,
you have to be command sponsored to have access to base.
Right. So that's why this stuff is super important to take care of at the beginning, so that you know that you have orders, you're command sponsored, and then you can actually get over there and receive these benefits.